Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Caden Be Fishing. Today we are going to be walking down the Apple River from a dam all the way down to where a lot of tubers get in. It's Float Right Park, I believe is what it's called. We're going to be fishing here at the bridge, and we're going to be walking from the dam way up to the top there, all the way down to this bridge basically. So let's see what happens. Yeah, so we're actually going to be walking up to the dam. Like I was saying, we're going to hop in there, fish below the dam for a little bit, and then we're going to walk our way down the river all the way down to this bridge that I started at. This stretch of river is very nice because there's actually a lot of deep little pockets here and there, and I know where pretty much all of them are, you know, over the years of fishing this little section of the river. And me and a couple people that fished here, we've caught muskies, we've caught smallmouth bass, we've caught walleyes. It's the Apple River, so like there's a lot of good different types of fish in it. But the only hardest part of this whole section is literally going all the way up to the dam, like having to walk on the side of the road basically. But once we get in there, I'll start this back up again, and we'll see you guys there. All right, you guys, we're here and we're going in. Yeah, this river has a large variety of different types of fish you can catch in it. It is in the Apple River, so it also connects to the St. Croix, so there is a ton of different species of fish that are within this river. So we'll see if we can catch something. Ooh, ice cold. Now I'm really hoping we just catch a bunch of bass today, smallmouth bass. But you know, if we can catch anything at all, I will be happy. We are going to be using a gray with red fleck in it, black or gray, whatever. And yeah, we're gonna start with this for a while. If we don't end up getting any bites on this, we're gonna switch to the pumpkin color tubes, because those are like a old reliable, I guess would be the best way to say that. So yeah, here's the dam we will be fishing at today. Water's moving very slow, so honestly I'm not expecting anything. But what I usually do when I come here, I'll get in on this side. And you might even remember, this is where I made my first video. I was way up on the top side there. But anyways, I'm gonna come over here, fish below. And then after that, I'm gonna kind of just work my way down river, and I'm gonna be heading straight down towards where I was fishing at that one bridge. So let's see what we can do here. Just saw some smallmouth bass ahead of me cruising around. Weren't very big ones, but they were bass nonetheless. So I'm kind of just gonna try to work my bait. I'm gonna cast ahead and work my bait back this way as best I can. This one might be a little too heavy. You know what I'm gonna do? Before we get too far in here, I'm gonna switch to a little bit of a smaller tube jig, just because this one's kind of heavy and I was expecting it to be a little bit faster down here, but it's really slow. And I think that's probably going to reign true for almost the whole stretch of the river, so I'm going to switch to a lighter tube jig. All right everybody, we have officially swapped to a smaller jig head. I'm going to be using the like dark green with the red flecks in it, and this is one I've had a lot of success with in the past. So what we're going to do is we're going to be throwing this for a little while here below the dam, and then we're going to start walking down. I did see a couple smallmouth bass, smaller guys in front of me here as I was kind of walking in, so I kind of stopped and I cast it a couple times. Didn't really get any interest from them, but I also just got in, so I could have spooked them, to be honest. Kind of going to slowly make my way up to the dam here. And with the water being as slow and as low as it is right now, it's also like 90 degrees out here. I'm really not sure how turned on the fish are going to be to these lures, because weather does have an effect on the fish as well. So if it's like a really hot day in the middle of the day, it's probably not an awesome time to go fishing, to be honest. I mean, if you're pan fishing or something like that, then it's probably not a big deal. But if you're trying to catch bigger game fish, your chances are pretty low of catching something in the middle of the day. The best time to fish is early in the morning or in the evening. And even then, you know, you kind of got to go by the temperature of the water and all that. This water is actually pretty cold, so it's a good sign. It's a good sign for me. Right behind that middle pillar there, I don't know if you guys can see that. There's a pillar that comes out in the middle here that kind of separates the two sides. Right behind that pillar, there's usually a bass or two sitting. I'm gonna try to get as close to that as I can. And the water's not super deep here. I mean, right in front of me is probably shallow. I just want to make sure I'm working my way through all this in a good way. Oh, that was weeds. Oh, there's a fish. Oh, a little bass, little bass. I thought it was weeds. Literally a little bass. Let's try that again. I kind of want to inch my way up slowly because I don't want to... Got him. Little tiny guy. Because I don't want to scare these fish before I get up to them. Little guy here. Oh, he's got a messed up lip. He's trying to go fishing. There he goes. You go fishing? I'm go fishing. Okay, anyway. If you know, you know. If you don't, then don't worry about it. I don't even know what it looks like over there, water-wise. So we're gonna try that. One decent smallmouth bass today would be sweet. That'd be anything I could hope for. With the water being as cold as it is on a 90-degree day like this, it's actually pretty hopeful for me because I think that's gonna slowly warm up the water. And one of the crazy things that a lot of people may or may not know is most fish, they are, get scientific on you here for a second. They're monokilotherms. So like their metabolism is whatever the temperature of the water is. So like if the water's real cold, their metabolism is gonna be slow. They're gonna be less likely to be more like aggressive. And then the warmer that water gets, the more their metabolism goes up, which means they need to eat more so they can grow more. So the best time to go bass fishing in the summer, like not really, I don't know if this attributes to smallmouth bass fishing as well. There's one. But largemouth bass for sure are monokilotherms. This is a little guy here. A little airborne action. Calm down, calm down. And the thing is with these fish, the monokilotherms, they're gonna go after a lot more baits. Little guy here. A lot more baits when it is a little bit warmer water. I mean, if the water gets too hot, you know, those fish are gonna get cooked, and then obviously they're gonna be dead fish. They're not gonna be biting any lures. So you wanna make sure, I like to fish a lot of rivers because that water is always moving. There's always a good chance you're gonna catch something. There's a lot of oxygen flow, lots of bait fish swimming around. Ooh, that was one. Those little bait fish are moving in that oxygen water because anything that comes down, little stuff, is probably gonna get eaten, you know, and then that bigger stuff's gonna eat the little stuff, and so on and so on. So I like fishing rivers. I don't know why, it's just, it's the best place to fish, in my opinion. Fishing in the river. Okay, now I'm gonna fish up behind that culvert a little bit. Got him. Ooh, a jumper. This one's a little bit bigger, not much though. Another guy, little, these ones are pretty brown in this river. In the St. River, they're more like black color, smallmouth bass. But in this river, they're more brown. Again, I have no idea why. Might be something to do with all the tannins in the water. Could be a thing, or maybe I'm just, you know, that's just a different species of bass. Not really sure, to be honest. Yeah, like I said, most of the fish are going to be sitting right up behind that culvert. So it's kind of why I'm just slowly inching my way there. Right there. There's also a lot of snags right there too, so which is probably why the fish are there. Oh, I had one. Tapped it. That's still good. Yeah, this is not a bad spot. I think earlier in the year, if you can get out here before the water gets too deep, this is a really good spot to go. But I don't know. I fished this river many, many times. I just haven't made this walk in a video yet, and I thought that would be really cool. This is premium river fishing is what we're doing right now. Premium. I mean, hopefully there's going to be lots of action the whole way down the river. There's lots of little pockets. If I can find these pockets as I'm going, because I'm pretty sure I remember where they are, but rivers do change a lot. So even if I think it's there, it might not be. You know what I mean? So try fishing over there. Probably a lot more rocky back there. So I'm going to kind of be careful of that. But yeah. Ooh, that was one. Let me slow down a little bit. The slower the water too, you want to be a little less erratic with the tube jigs because the fish are able to see the bait a lot better. When you're fishing in faster water, the faster you move that bait through the river, they can have less time to see what it is, and then they're just going to kind of go after it because they think it's something they need to eat. There's literally a little bass right in front of me. Literally sitting in front of me. I'm scaring them. They're looking at it because they don't know if they can eat it. They're like this big, little guys. There's also a bunch of little minnows like literally pecking at my legs, so that's cool. Put this back in here. We're gonna give this another like 4 or 5 minutes, and then we're gonna dip a rooney out of here. Start heading down the river. It's okay. Like I said, we catching all the fish today. Whatever we can get, we're gonna take. The water is very nice and cold. So I love that a lot, that the water is nice and cold. That was another one. Dang it, man. My hook's not bent, is it? Nope. Nice and sharp, too. Perfect. There's one. Better one. Oh yeah, way better one. Nice. There we go. Ooh, jumper. Heck yeah. Not a huge one, but way bigger than the other ones we were catching. Heck yeah. There we go. Feisty. All right. Now we're catching something. Like I said, sometimes you got to slow it down. If you do it too fast, the little guys, you cast somewhere, let's say you're fishing somewhere, you might catch a bunch of little ones right away. You're like, man, it's all little ones. Well, the little ones are getting to it first. They want it, you know? They're gonna get to that bait first. So you gotta catch a couple little guys first, and then that big one's gonna see that same lure coming by a little bit slower, and then they're gonna grab it. Because the little guys all got sore lips, so they're not gonna bite again, you know? Still a chance to catch a decent sized one here. This is a really deep spot in the river. Lots of oxygen, lots of fish, lots of other things here. So like, it's understandable that there's more fish here. I even see some bluegills in front of me here underneath the surface of the water, just chilling, just cruising. That's a snag. Oh, that just broke. All right. Well, and we're actually gonna walk up a little further to see if we can get that lure back after I thread the line through here. All right, you guys, we are retied. This time we're gonna do a green and red little guy. And we're gonna move forward a little ways here because this is where we lost the tube jig. We're gonna see if we can find it. If we can find it and we can retrieve it, awesome. If we can't, I mean, oh well. Woo! Water is real cold. Oh, it's up to my butt. Okay. Probably not gonna get that one back. The water is kind of murky-ish. I can't really see too far in front of me here. Yeah, no, and it's pretty deep, so I'm gonna actually back away a little ways so I can still fish this. Don't want to get this bag soaked, and it already feels like it is kind of wet, so I'm gonna have to look at that before we go further. I'm sure that bait's just not very far ahead of me. Somebody's line. Maybe that's what I've been hooking. Somebody's line. Is that my line? No way. Let's see what we got going on here. The lure attached to it, whatever it is. It is my line. Heck yeah, I got my tube jig back. All right, well, there's all that section of line that's basically all junk, so that's good. I'm putting this back on. Let me just put all this extra line here in my pocket. Don't want to be polluting anything around here. Everyone knows a lot of these rivers and lakes around here are very polluted, so I'm going to do my part and try to keep that out of here. Alright. I'm actually going to throw this extra tube jig here in my pocket, so if I do lose this one again, I got one ready to go. Okay. And like I said, I need to double check my bag here before I go as well, because the bottom of my bag got a little wet because my shorts got wet and the water kind of slowly rose up. There's one. Oh, there he goes. Catch and release. All right. All right, we're gonna begin our walk down the river here and see what happens. I brought an extra GoPro battery with me today, so I should have plenty of battery to fish all this. I'm kind of going to the other side. There's another red horse sucker right there, and a big one in front of me. I really hope you guys can see these. Probably not, but I'm going to be working my way pretty much near all these trees on both sides of the river. Just going to be casting in all the pockets and everything that I see. Working my way straight to that bridge that's way down there. So all the main fish that are in this river, when it comes time to spawn, spawn's past now, but you will see fish running up this river like crazy. Bass, northerns, walleyes, muskies, literally everything runs up this river. So if you're lucky to fish it when all that's going on, sometimes you can get really lucky, and you know, those fish will be sitting there going up the river, and you'll either catch them off guard or catch them in a moment where they weren't expecting to see, you know, lures, and sometimes they'll just go right after it. So yeah, I'm really glad I got this tube jig back. I did not think that was going to happen. Literally caught my own fishing line. Didn't think there was any. I thought it literally snapped off at the lure, so I thought it was just completely gone in the deep somewhere. I wasn't going to find it, and that's crazy to me. Literally crazy. And the crazy thing about muskies too, northern pikes, a lot of fish, honestly. You guys see these weeds in front of me? Underneath them, it looks like there's just a big mat of weeds, but in reality, underneath them, there's about a foot, maybe even a foot and a half of water underneath it that you can't even see. So like if I had another person here with me and they were to walk through all these weeds and I went to the top of where the weeds were, you would almost see like 5 or 10 fish shooting out because you just can't get a lure, you know what I mean, down underneath them. So yeah, it's another thing about fish that you may or may not know about the rivers like that. Whenever there's weeds that do grow in the river, they're pretty strong because they have to fight that current all day. Fish are hiding underneath them. So sometimes when I find a deep spot near this, I'll cast my lures around the holes that are opening in the weeds, because that's how we've caught muskies here before. Stay here. There's one. Good one. Really good one. Smallmouth. Well, not a really good one, but it's definitely a nice one. See that? Oh yeah, this is probably the biggest one so far. We're leveling up slowly but surely. There we go. A little bit of a nicer one there. Biggest one we caught so far. Heck yeah. I just totally ripped a lot of the tail feathers rubber stringies on the end of this thing out. So that's not good. Bend this guy back a little bit. Perfect. There is fish here. We'll stay right here because I'm actually in the shade over here, which is nice. I need to fish this, all this in front of me, because the amount of minnows that I'm seeing is crazy. Like just the sheer amount of minnows. Honestly, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but there is like hundreds of minnows in front of me. Hundreds. It's literally crazy. Maybe that's why the fish are all digging on the tube jigs down here, because I think it's a minnow or something, you know? There's one. A baby. Just the tiniest one. A lot of these minnows could be the spawn from this year, so. Actually not sure how long it takes for fish to hatch from their eggs once the spawn happens. Oh, that was one. Little guy. Nailed it. Just sit right here for a second. There we go. Got him. Little guy. Might be only catching little guys today. That's okay. Oh. Catching any fish today, I am completely down with. Let me get the hook here. There we go. Little guy. So up here is a big spot that I've caught muskies before. As you can see, all the weeds. Oh, maybe not. There we go. All the weeds here. It is very, very difficult to get tube jigs to go down underneath these weeds. And honestly, it makes me kind of nervous walking over them because you honestly can't see what's under them. You know, it could be a big snapping turtle, there could be nothing, there could be a big muskie. I have no idea. I'm kind of just going to walk slowly here and kind of work my way. I've got to get to where that tree in the water is, and then fish the fast current on the other side of the tree, and then get in on the other side of that fast current, and then walk down past it. It's about knee deep right here. I've already seen a few suckers and carp swimming through this as I've walked, but I'm just fishing in the openings of this stuff. All right, you guys. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this or not, but in front of me here, about right there is actually a ton of minnows underneath, cruising underneath all these weeds. And that's exactly why all these muskies and stuff like that, bass, whatever, are all cruising, because there's so many minnows hiding underneath these. This tube jig almost probably acts like one of these minnows. So that's pretty cool. Just like watching it. As you fish, anywhere you fish, just kind of look at what's around, because any and all structures you find could have fish hiding in them, could be a reason there's fish cruising through them, all that good stuff. All right, walking by this tree here. This is this fast stuff over here. On the other side of this fast stuff, I'm assuming it's probably pretty reasonably deep. That could be a very, very good spot to cast, even if it is fast moving water, because this tube jig can pretty much move through anything, and that could mean more bites for us. So I'm trying to just be careful as I walk here and not trip on anything, because these weeds are like a big crazy carpet and I'm walking on right now. Okay, spot coming up on here. I think I need to stick to the left side. I think. Could be wrong on that. Looks like a lot of weeds on the right, and it looks like it gets fast, so I'm gonna stick to the left, I think. Big sucker right there, holy crap. Just went around my leg there. Fast up behind that tree I want to cast in. Kind of gonna stay in the middle here for a second. Lots of little tiny minnows in there. Used to fish here. When I used to fish here, I used to be way deeper on the other side. So it's like, plus the current, it was like the perfect spot to catch smallies. Especially when they're spawning, you catch them over here, and then on the other side, you could catch them in the current, you know? Weeds. Oh, that was one. Another one right there. Picked it up as soon as the other one let go. Little guy. Little guy. And there he goes. This is a good spot. You just got to put it in the right spot, you know? That's like pretty much a lot of what this is placement. You can place that bait in just the right spot and work it just perfectly. Ooh, that was one. Oh, Jesus. Sometimes those weeds, the weeds are like the long ones, they'll trick you into thinking you have a fish. And when you go to pull too, it feels like you got some resistance, and you do, but it's just the weeds, you know? Oh, bass just jumped in front of me. Eating one of them minnows. It's crazy, all those minnows that are in here, and I'm still catching fish on lures. Because, you know, you would just think that the fish would be more interested in the minnows than this lure. All right, the next section is going to be a little sketchy, to be honest. Because I don't know if you guys can see this, but up this way you can see the cars kind of in the distance. That's kind of where that's where I parked. The bridge is just a little further down from that. Once we get to where the cars are, we're going to get out, because that's usually where all the tubers are getting in to tube down the river. And that's just more hassle than it's worth, to be honest. There's a fast section here, and then a shallow on the side. But around the side of the fast, on the other side, there is a deep spot. So I'm going to fish that. And then along the shoreline where I'm going to be walking, I'm going to have to fish ahead of myself, because there's actually a lot of good holes. And I want to make sure I don't miss any fish. So we're going to work our way through here as best as we can. And actually, this is kind of moving fast, but I am going to whip on the other side here before I get into that fast water stuff. Just in case something's sitting over there that I just don't see. That was weeds, I think. Oh, look at that. Our first stick bass of the day. Look at that. That's a nice one right there. Get him unhooked, get him back. There we go. See if we can catch some bigger ones while we get down here. All right, you guys. Well, we are out of the river right now. We are going to be going around some trees here, trying to get to that fast spot there. I don't know if we're going to be able to cast in it or not, because it's moving pretty quick. And the deep spot's right next to shore here as well. And I kind of want to cast in that, but it's not very easy. So we're going to be kind of just making our way through the woods. So hopefully we can find a good spot to get through here. I'm really not trying to get poison ivy, so I really hope there isn't any. It's just chilling back here. There's tons of big spiders back here, so that's cool. And a big frog just jumped in. I'm not sure where I'm gonna be able to cast, man. Big mushrooms, that's nasty. Mosquitoes are biting me. Jesus, this is like the worst woods. All right, I'm gonna get in right here, try to get out a little ways, and then cast. Okay. Because the deep spot on the other side of that fast stuff, I never get to cast in it because it's always just so quick over here. There we go. Now we're cooking. Oh, that was not what I wanted to do. There's weeds. There we go. That's what I wanted. Nothing over there. That is crazy. No, snag. Got it back, got it back. Yes. Somehow I got that back. I have no idea how. Check the line out here. It's got some nicks and dents, but I think it should be okay. Alright, this part's going to be a little tricky because I'm not sure what side of the river to go on. Gotta use past experience and knowledge and hope for the best. Okay, so I'm gonna go up right here. Now along this whole shoreline here, it's pretty deep the whole way. And then the unfortunate thing is, in the middle it's very fast and deep as well, so I can't really walk out there to get this. So I'm gonna have to just kind of fish around it the best that I can. Got spider webs all over me. Blech. It's actually a freshwater spring right here. The water is super ice cold. If you look very closely, you'll be able to see the spiders. They're sitting right there, and what they're doing is they're waiting for minnows to come close enough for them to grab them. There's 3 of them here. See that? Gross. That's why you don't stay super close to the shore when you're fishing in a river like that. No thank you. Push this a little bit as I go. Never know, could get lucky. Could be a big one just cruising up the river and it sees my tube jig. This is probably the sketchiest part, is walking through all this stuff. But I have caught some pretty decent bass near the shore over here by all the spiders and everything. There's a good deep hole right around the corner here. I'm hoping I can cast into it and work a bait without getting, you know, stuck or anything. So this is where a little bit of heavier tube jig would do better because it's faster water. And your little one, if you use a smaller tube jig, it's harder to get it to go through that water because the water's so strong, it's pushing it away before the fish can even find it, you know? Like I said, it's super hard to work these lures in this fast water like this. That was one. Little guy. Honestly, I might tie on one of the big ones. Tie on a pumpkin tube, I think. That's what I'm gonna do. No, we got heavier water. I should have been using that the whole time. That's all right. Alrighty, you guys, we got the good old-fashioned green pumpkin tube here with the black fleck. One of the more popular colors with most of the fish that I catch. We're going to try that out here in this little bit of a faster water. Works through weeds very slowly, but that's okay. We're almost to the parking lot here, so we're going to just kind of see if we can get some reaction bites out of some of these bass that are probably sitting right in front of this little section of weeds. Like that. That's a nice one right there. Really nice one. Look at that, as soon as I put the big one on. Oh, that is a large smallie. That is a large smallmouth bass. Big one, big one. I mean a big one, guys. Oh my gosh. That is a dark, dark brown, large smallmouth bass. First cast, not first cast, actually second cast with this big tube. That is crazy. Big, crazy smallmouth. Big jumper too. Oh, how's that for a smallmouth bass? That's probably a 16, 17 incher. Big nasty leech on her. Get the tube out here. That is a nice one right there. That is a nice one right there. All right, guys. That is another monster smallmouth bass. Huge one. Absolutely huge one. Nice one. I'd say around probably 17 or 16 inches. Really, really nice fish. Getting her back in the river here. There she goes. That was a nice one. That was a very, very nice smallmouth bass right there. That is what I came here to see. That is so nice, dude. Whew. And we didn't lose the, we did not lose the GoPro, so that's sweet. See that? One good cast out in the open there. Ooh. Another one. Nice one. Pumpkin tube. What did I say? Pumpkin tube. Another decent one. There's another one. Decent little guy. Gosh, that first one was a nice one. Got another one. Now I got him dialed in with that pumpkin tube, you know? Oh, homie swallowed it. Oh, we got it up. Little guy. Well, I found a good spot, guys. Should have just came here right away. Dude. What is happening here? Got it. Must be a log or something in the water right there. This jig head is pretty heavy, as is the tube jig. So they're both a heavier mixture, which makes it harder to keep it out of the rocks and get it out of the rocks. But it also is, I don't know why this color specifically. Oh, that was one. This color specifically, the pumpkin tube, that's what it's called. Pumpkin, green pumpkin color, supposedly is what it's called. That's what the packages always say when I buy them. I don't know what's pumpkin about this. It's not orange at all, but maybe it's like pumpkin seed kind of deal. There is a tree there. You know what I know? Just caught another nice stick bass. Look at that. That is a nice one. Let him go. That must be why there's fish stacked up here, because there's a big tree underwater. That smallie I just caught, that bigger one, was probably about a 3.5 pounder. 16, 17 inches. I have a tape measure, but these river bass like this, when the water's moving pretty quick, they'll get killed pretty fast. I mean, I probably had enough time to measure them, but at the same time too, I just want to make sure they don't die, you know? I'm okay with not measuring them. I can kind of guesstimate usually pretty well. Okay, no more bites here, so I'm gonna slowly kind of start making my way closer to the car. Kind of just fish in front of along this whole shoreline, all the way down back to the car. There's literally just weeds upon weeds along the shore, but it's like patchy weeds. Almost like fish tank weeds. Kind of reminds me of that anyway. So I'm gonna try to just fish the deep part in front of these weeds because that seems to be where the fish are cruising. I'm just gonna kind of cast as I walk and fish this stuff all the way back. Worst thing about fishing rivers is your line will get twisted up. That's why I use snap swivels. That helps, but I mean, there's not a whole lot you can do about that. This was a rock there. This is where I've come before to catch a bunch of suckers. It's just, you can't really fish here when the tubers are here. It's just too much going on. That might be just about it for you guys. One really nice smallmouth bass mixed in there. Bunch of little guys. Pretty steady action for the most part. There was a little bit of a lull in the middle there, but who cares? Caught fish. Sometimes underneath this bridge, walleyes will sit, and sometimes muskies will too. I'm gonna try to cast on the other side underneath the bridge there and try to work a tube jig through it, because I really think there could be a nice walleye, a nice bass, something over there. So all right, a couple more casts here. Right there. It is rocky over there and probably not super deep, but I have caught walleyes on that side of the bridge before. Got one. Oh, I had one. That was a fish. That was a fish. Doesn't look very chewed up. A bus coming here, probably. There's one fish over there, at least. Spooked it up. That's something. I don't know what it is yet. Probably a bass. It's fighting weird. Oh yeah, smallmouth bass. Heck yeah. This one's not bad. Oh, there it goes. Right in front of me. Hopefully you guys can see that. Whew, there it goes. Heck yeah. All right, you guys. Well, we caught one really nice smallie today. Crap ton of smaller ones, but pretty good action throughout. So I'm fine with that. Thank you for joining me. We did quite a trek today. So see you in the next one.